Hi everyone, it's Raquel Bowman here with you today, sharing a new layout I created for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. This one is using one of their new collections called Free Spirit, and as you can see from this video, there are so many embellishments, so many beautiful papers. It's just a really gorgeous collection. It was the first time that I had a chance to pull it out and have a play, and this layout came together quite nicely because of how beautiful the products were. So what I have here is I went and I knew I wanted to use the heart cut file. I looked through cut files that I downloaded on the Silhouette store, and there wasn't anything that I could find that was fitting what I wanted. Then I remembered that the Cut Shop by Ashley Horton had some gorgeous sort of pie chart looking hearts, so I went and purchased that, and the bonus is that that's an immediate download, so I didn't have to wait to get that. Then you can see that I'm just flicking through the pattern papers trying to find a paper or papers that I can back that cut file with. So what I decided to do that was I found papers that I felt complemented the photo best. I didn't want them to overpower the photo. I wanted them to work alongside the photo. And so I've found this gorgeous striped paper and I've selected that, and to actually back it, instead of trying to do it really awkwardly, I've done it off camera, but what I actually did was use the negative that was still remaining on my cutting mat to trace around, and then I cut each piece a little bit past that tracing edge so that it would be able to be adhered nicely to the back of that cut file, and that worked beautifully and wasn't too many pieces to have to do that with. And yeah, I was happy with how quick that process was. I just didn't want you to have to suffer through watching all of it. What I'm doing now is I'm sifting through the ephemera pack, and I'm trying to find any ephemera that I think will work with this color palette, this photo, the idea that I had for this layout. So although obviously all of the ephemera should coordinate because I'm using the one collection, there was some that I felt didn't quite match the image of my little girl or what I wanted this layout to be about. So my idea for this layout is the photo is taken of my daughter when just before her first dance concert. She just does this fairy dancing, it's called, and it's really just a fun, not too serious little dance group. And the actual company they had a TV show in Australia, and so you can buy the DVDs and watch and learn the songs as well as learn the mat dancing. So funnily enough and perfectly enough, the photo coordinates beautifully with this collection, like so beautifully. So I was really rapt to be getting this photo and this little moment in her life documented, and yeah, the collection was perfect. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting out the alphas that are a new sort of style of alpha for Cocoa Vanilla. So they're a larger all capital alphabet, and normally on the alpha sheets we have sort of two sets of tiny leather stickers and then a larger alphabet, but this one is all capitals and they're a perfect size and they work beautifully for layouts. So what I'm doing now is I've sort of laid down the alphabet on some wax paper, and I've also put the die cut happy, and I want to sort of layer that on top of the always. And now I'm just cutting a photo mat, so I wanted my photo to pop off the page a little bit more, and I just adore that. So it's not a hot pink, but that bright pink pattern paper in the collection, and again, it does go beautifully with her dress, so I thought that would help that photo pop that little bit more by having that as a border as well. Now I'm just cutting a little bit of vellum to pop on, just to edge that triangle with, and it just adds a little detail. It's not a major detail on the layout, but I just love being able to add little touches. So that's just a small pop of vellum, as I was showing you there, and just another sort of layer of softness like a doily might bring. So I'm sticking the alphabet down, or the always down, so I'm committed to the placement of that. When I was trying to figure out where to put the title, I was having a bit of trouble. Titles are always I think, one of my hardest things to do on a layout. Journaling, finding spots for journaling, I normally find a bit easier than actually where I want to place the title. And especially when a page has got a lot happening, like I feel this one does because that die cut is so large, it's always hard to be able to find the spot for a title that helps keep the layout balanced. So, yeah, I've popped that title down, and now I'm just looking at what sorts of things that I can add in terms of ephemera and layers around that photo. So I remembered as I was sifting through and arranging those die cut flowers that one of the cut apart sheets, I don't remember the exact name of it, but it contains a lot of little cut out phrases that you can cut out, little tabs you can cut out, little strips that you can cut out and use as ephemera, I guess, on your layout. And what I love doing is I'll normally cut that up as much as I can into all little pieces and then pop that in with my ephemera, and it just gives me a little bit extra to play with and a little bit more that I have the opportunity to layer around my photos or wherever I'm creating a cluster. So for this particular part, what I've done is I've cut out a little, looks like a Dymo strip that says love this. That actually doesn't end up making the layout, but I've cut it out anyway, and I was pretty sure that I was using it up until a certain point. I've also cut out a little row of hearts, and what I've done with those hearts is just cut like a banner edge out of it. And then this is where I've found the sticker in the sticker sheet, and I've decided to use that pop of orange instead of that sort of hot pink love this Dymo label. I've also off camera just added a few extra bits and pieces, so that nothing's adhered down at this point, so I will be going through each thing with you anyway. But what I've added is some of the woodies, which are the new embellishments for Cocoa Vanilla Studio, and they're just a wood sort of epoxy topped button. And then there's also, I've added some veneer, and what else have I added? I've added some stickers that I've taken the adhesive off with that EK Success tool that you can see in the top right corner. I still haven't found an alternative that I want to use yet. I do have baby powder, an abundance of it probably in my house, having little kitties, but I haven't gone the route of using that yet. I really like to find some kind of tool. I'm a gadgets kind of girl at the moment, and yeah, if I could have something that is similar to the EK Success that does the same thing but isn't that one, I'd love to find it. So if you know one that isn't just putting some talc in a container, which is probably what I'll end up doing, let me know. I'll soon find out if that's what I'll be doing anyway. So what I'm doing now is I've popped the whole die cut up on foam. I love adding the detail and dimension to my page, and I've talked about that before. And I've also added some behind the photo, so I've sort of got a double layer of dimension. So I've got the die cut on foam, and then I've got the photo on top of that die cut on foam. Now the foam's only thin, so it's not a pop off the page completely, but you can see that it's it's got that dimension there. And now what I'm doing is simply adhering the embellishments. So I'm adhering down the die cuts from the ephemera pack. That one there's a cute little camera that it's adorable. It's super gorgeous. Sort of like a orange watercolory look. Watercolory, good English, look camera, and it's really sweet. Then I've added with my Scotch Quick Dry some wood veneer and arrow. I'll apologise now if I'm talking a little bit funny. I've got a problem with my jaw, and I've just had a really tough day with it. So it's now nearly I think it's 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I've left it till this time to record, but it was the only time today that I was sort of feeling up to talking too much. Anyways, so I'm layering the ephemera down. I'm working on that cluster to the right of the photo, and you'll see here that I'm sort of using different sort of tucking the ephemera in different ways, either under the doily or over the doily, or I've put the label on but then I've tucked the flower under, and then I've layered this heart strip which I cut out from that cut apart sheet. I'm sort of putting that on a slight angle because I want you to be able to see that when I put the orange banner down. And what I'm doing there is just adding that little bit of extra foam dimension. So there, a few of the ephemera are popping off the page that little bit more. There, I've just zoomed in so you've got a bit more of a close-up. And then with this gorgeous little bunting, what I'm going to do is sort of weave that in the edge of that banner like I've done there. And then I'm just popping under a little bit more of those foam dots. So I love using the foam dots when I've got smaller areas to work with. So I'm not using them on a massive big photo or big die cut, but I'm using them on smaller ephemera and bits and pieces. So I've also grabbed out the woodies, as I mentioned earlier, to use on the page. And these are a really beautiful embellishment. I like that they add that touch of wood, but then they also are coordinating with the pieces within the collection. They come with they're adhered to a backing sheet within the packet, and they're actually adhered with a foam. Now, you could use that foam directly on the page, but I find that it adds a bit too much depth. So what I do is I just peel that little foam dot off and then stick it with some tacky adhesive. Here, how I've applied this happy die cut is I actually cut the edges of, the excess of your foam dots that is good to cut up and use. Well, I've just cut the sides, so the strips off that, so I had a thin row of foam, and I've just adhered those just to the long edges of those letters in happy, and that worked perfectly. Then I've added a cute little heart, and I've sort of folded that in half and adhered it on one side so it pops up that little bit. And I'm finishing the page with some of the enamel shapes. They're not called enamel dots anymore because you can also get love hearts and stars within them, and they're pretty cool. I really like them, and I could do with a gazillion packets, I'm sure, like we all probably could. And I finished the page now. I'm pretty much done, but I do finish the page later on with some navy colour shine. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing if you're a new subscriber, or for continuing to subscribe. I really appreciate any comments that I've been getting and the feedback that I've been getting. It's really fantastic, and thank you so much. And I'll be back soon with some more videos to share with you. Thanks everyone. Bye.